So for example, you are working on a project and which is not yet initialized with the Git. Now your manager would ask you to manage your project using Git. So the first thing that you need to do is to create a repository, because if you ever wanted to manage your project using Git, the first thing that you need to do is to create a repository. So if you are following our tutorials from the beginning, you might be knowing about what a repository is and how do we create a repository. So let me open Google Chrome and a GitHub account. So this is Ramu's account, and if you remember from the beginning we are helping Ramu. So this is Ramu's account, which is Ramu2022. And if you look at in the left side, by default whenever you open github.com and if you have logged in, and in the left side you can find all the repositories which were created earlier. So here we could see a repository called Suresh Text, right? And now if you want to create a new repository, you need to click on new. Okay, and it is going to ask you to provide a repository name, and basically a repository name has to reflect your project name. So for example, if you are working on a project called Sweetbox, because currently we are working on a project called Sweetbox, so here we would basically keep something similar to that name. So I am going to give Sweetbox here. So I will say Sweetbox. Okay, and Sweetbox is available. Okay, so that's fine. So and here under the description you need to provide the description about the repository, like what your repository is going to represent, or what are you going to do under your project. So I'm going to give this is a project about a Sweetbox, something like that. You can provide any kind of descriptions, and then the down you have two options called public and private. And the meaning of public is that anyone in the world can see your repository. So now you are creating a repository, right? And if you select public, anyone in the world can see your repository. That's fine, that's not a problem, because they can just see your repository but they can't do anything apart from that. So that's fine. And at the down you have an option to initialize this repository with readme. Okay, that's fine. So currently I don't want it, so I'm not going to select it, and I'm going to click on create repository. Okay, now if you look at here, the repository is created and you can find the repository URL here. Okay, so this is the repository URL which we can use to push our project into this repository. Okay, so now the repository is there with us, and we have the project into our local system, and this is the project which I have. So the project name is Sweetbox, which is basically a folder, and I have a folder called test inside that, and with two files called home and address. Okay, now this is our project which is not yet initialized with the git, and I'm going to initialize git, and I'm going to use the repository which we have created to push this code into this repository which we just created. So for that, what we need to do is, see, if you look at here, it is saying us if you ever wanted to initialize your project with git, the first thing that you need to do is to say git followed by init. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to open git bash. So to open git bash, you just have to say git bash, and I have the project in git projects and then Sweetbox. So I'm going to say cd, which is nothing but the changing directory, and then followed by git projects. Okay, if I say ls, here I can see Sweetbox projects. So I'm going to change to this directory, which is nothing but change directory Sweetbox. Okay, if I say ls, I can see all the files and folders which are part of this project. And if you look at here, this project is not at initialized with the git, because if this project gets initialized with the git, there will be a folder called .git, right, which we had seen in our earlier tutorials. So it's not at initialized with the git, or the project is not at managed by the git. That's fine. Let's get started with initializing an existing project with git. So for that, what we need to do, so the first thing which we need to do is to say git init. Okay, so I'm going to just clear it once so that the console output is going to be cleared. That's fine. And the first thing that you need to do is to say git init. Okay, so when you say git init, it is going to give up a console output as initialized empty git repository. And if you look close here, there are two things that will happen whenever you say git init. The first thing you can find in the right side. Previously this master was not there here, right? But whenever you have initialized your project with git, it is going to give you a default branch called master branch, and along with that one more thing happened, and that is what I'm going to show you now. If I say ls, what happened? I think you are not able to see the changes, right? But the change is there, but you are not able to see here. So if I go to the file explorer, you can find that. Look at here, previously we don't have this folder called .git, and if you are not able to see this folder, I'm going to say this is a hidden folder. So if you want to see that folder, just click on this view and then followed by hidden items, and in your case if you're not able to see the .git folder, you have to check this box. So if you check this box, you could able to see .git. Okay, so this is a hidden folder which is going to be created for us whenever we initialize any kind of project. And the use of this .git folder is to track your files. This is the main folder which is going to does all the kind of operations. So previously we have talked about .git folder in our earlier tutorial, so if you have missed that, please do watch our previous tutorials to get that knowledge. Okay, so what happened whenever we did this, it has done two things, like it has created a default branch called master, and at the same time it has created a folder called .git. So I am going back to the second step, which is nothing but to add the files. Okay, so before adding the files, I am going to say git status. Now if you look at here, whenever I say git status, it is going to list up all the files which are in untracked state. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what an untracked and what a tracked is in our next tutorials when we talk about git status lifecycle. But for now we have few files which are untracked. Okay, and those files are address.txt, home.txt, and a test folder. Basically all the files and folders which are part of our project. That's fine. So now what we need to do, we need to basically add those files or folders. Okay, so before that okay, so I'm going to add those files or folders now. So for that, what I need to do is, so if you ever want to add any file or folder, you just need to say git add followed by that file name. Okay, so I'm going to say paste here, so it is going to add up, and similarly you need to say copy and then paste. But this is going to take some time, right? Instead, if you ever want to add all the files and folders which are in untracked, you just need to say git add followed by dot. So dot is going to add up all the files and folders which are in untracked recursively. Okay, so I'm going to give an enter now. Enter. So now what happened if I say git status? What happened? All these files were added, which are nothing but all these files are moved to a place called staging area. So previously when we talked about git workflow, we have discussed about working directory, staging area, and then local repository and the remote repository, right? So now whenever I have done an add, these files were added to a place called staging area. If you look at here, it is saying that git remove cached and then the file to unstays. What do you mean by to unstays? When do you say to unstays? If the files were already in the staged state, then only you will say to unstays, right? So that means these files are in staged state now. That's fine. Just remember these files are in staged state, and I'm going to talk about this in much detail. So let me go back to the next step. The next step is to commit. Okay, and even if you look at here, it says changes to be committed. That means these are the changes which are to be committed. So I am going to say git commit. Now if I give an enter, it is going to show up notepad++ for me, because earlier I have configured notepad++ with git. But in your case, if you haven't followed our previous tutorials, it is going to open up a VI editor by default, and it will be bit difficult for you to do the changes there. So for now I am going to give an inline commit, and the use of inline commit is that you are going to give the message in the command line itself, and there is no need to open up any kind of editors. So if you ever want to give the inline commit, you just need to say git commit followed by -m. M stands for giving a message, and then followed by a double quote, and then the message which you want to give for that particular commit. And the message that you need to give here is to basically reflect the changes that you have done so far. So what we have done, we could basically say this is an initial commit. That might be one thing, or you can say added all the files, or added all the initial files. You could say anything. So but for now I am going to say initial commit. Okay, and I'm going to give an enter. Okay, so the files have been committed now. Okay, and the next step is to add the remote origin. What is this? Git remote followed by add and then the origin and our git repository URL, right? So this is the repository URL which has been generated for us whenever we have created a repository. Okay, so this is what is that. Okay, that's fine, but what is this git remote add origin? As I said earlier, whenever you want to communicate with the repository, once you made any kind of clone, right, you need to use a name called origin, and I said that the origin is the default name which will be provided to us whenever we clone any kind of project, right? And this is what is that. So here we are basically providing a name to the server. Okay, so this is our git repository URL and we are providing a name to this server. Okay, to this server. Okay, so I am going to provide that name as git remote add followed by origin. So here don't get confused with this name, because you can give any kind of name here, but most of the people are going to use or use it to this name. That's why we are using this name here, but if you want to give any other name, you are welcome to give that name. Okay, so for now I'm going to follow the others. So I'm going to say git remote add and then the origin, and then you need to provide the repository URL. So I'm going to copy this. So this has been copied now and I'm going to paste it here. So what are we doing here is just to provide the communication between our local project and the remote repository. So for that I am just adding the server name as origin. That's it. But okay, before doing this, let me okay, so before giving an enter, I am going to just give a back press and let's check what are the previous remote repositories or the previous servers that were added. So if you ever wanted to know about the other remote servers that were added in your project, you just have to say git remote followed by -v. So v here is nothing but verbose, which is going to show up all the details. So I'm going to press enter. See, nothing has been added, right? So that's what we are doing here. So since nothing was added to your existing project, so I'm going to add it now. So to add it, you just have to say git remote. Okay, let's me confirm it, git remote add and then the origin followed by the repository URL. Okay, sorry, that was copied earlier, right? So I'm going to copy it now and I'm going to paste it here. Enter. Okay, now if you say git remote -v, it has to show up some data. Okay, if you look at here, now since we have added this, it is going to show up origin to fetch and then the origin to push. So basically if you ever wanted to fetch the data, I'm going to talk about fetch in our next tutorials, and push also, but basically if you ever want to fetch or push, we can use this name instead of this entire URL. Okay, now the next thing is to push the entire code. Okay, git push -u origin master. So I'm going to say git push, what is that? Okay, so I need to talk about this -u, right? So -u nothing but upstream. So u here stands for upstream, and I'm going to talk about what an upstream is in our next tutorials in detail. And but for now I'm going to use this -u. Okay, so I'm going to say -u followed by origin and then the master, which is nothing but the branch where I am going to push these changes to. So git push -u origin and then the master, give an enter. Okay, so it is going to give up the credentials which we need to log into GitHub. So I'm going to just say ramutonichutu at gmail.com followed by the password, which is nothing but the one which I am entering now. So I am going to say data enter. So this should push our changes to the GitHub. So let's check it. Okay, now the changes were pushed. Okay, so the changes were pushed and I am going to open GitHub and I am going to refresh it. Look at here. So we have got the folder, the files which were there in my project, which are basically, if I say ls, look at here. So whatever the files and folders which are in this project were added to this repository. So this is what I was discussing about, right? So this is how we will initialize Git with an existing project. Okay, let me go back to the presentation once and let's see if we have missed anything. Okay, so we have done the Git init just to initialize Git into our existing project, and then Git add to add all the files which are going to be added into the staging area, and then followed by a git commit, and finally we have added the remote repository into our local system with the name which we wanted to give. So we have given origin here, and you can basically give any other name if you are liking to give. And finally the remote repository URL, and finally we have done a push. So this is the Git working flow which we have discussed earlier. So I am going to relate this with the changes that I have done so far. So the first thing that I have done is to add the changes to the staging area, and for that I have done add. So I did git add followed by dot write, which I have added all the files and folders into the staging area, and then I did a commit which pushed my changes to a local repository, and then finally I have done a push which has pushed the changes to a remote repository, right? So this is what we have done so far, and I hope you have got how to initialize Git with an existing project.